What is up, guys? Welcome to Cinco Symposium. Alright, are you ready to get pissed off? Or at least if you're a veteran or military member or anyone that thinks, putting those guys first above any outside, sources of just, hey, maybe like the Ukraine war or anything like that. You're about to be upset by this story. The VA Secretary swats down, the main story isn't the VA Secretary swats down. It's just the idea that the Congressional Budget Office, that they propose to cut VA funding or cut off VA funding for people that made about $170,000. So we're going to get into this story a little bit. Before we do, hit that like button, share the video, guys. Also, opened up a t-shirt store. Check it out online. The link's going to be down in the description. Check that out if you like funny, political, inspirational t-shirts. See if one strikes your fancy. I'd appreciate that. All right, so let's get into the story. Okay, so veterans' social media feeds erupted this week over a months-old report from the Congressional Budget Office that listed options for reducing the federal deficit, including the idea that the government could save $253 billion over the next 10 years by eliminating disability compensation for veterans who make more than $170,000. Okay, so it's going to save them possibly save $253 billion over the next decade. And yet, in a year's time frame, how many hundreds of billions of dollars have we sent to Ukraine? How many billions were wasted on the COVID relief funds? But the guys that signed up, put their lives on the line, went and got their legs blown off, their arms blown off, their face blown up, shot, shrapnel, can't walk, or got one leg or no legs. These guys that are jacked up, and now getting paid by the federal government for the injuries that they obtained during their service. Not to mention all the guys that didn't come back and don't get nothing; they're just dead. But all these disabled guys who got jacked up, and what's been going on for the past 20 years? I believe that was a war. Was it the global war on terror? I was in the military. I remember getting a stupid little ribbon thing called a GWAT for the global war on terror. Started pretty much in 2001, after a certain big event that happened. This is just infuriating. Each year, the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, publishes proposals for reducing the federal deficit, which has reached nearly $723 billion since the beginning of fiscal 2023. The latest list published in December, but only garnering attention among veterans this week. Yeah, it's just one of those things, I guess, it's not noticed, But Veterans Affairs Secretary Dennis McDowell shot down the idea Thursday, saying the VA does not think that's a good idea. Okay, and my thing is he says, quote, "We think it's a bad idea and we're not going to do it. You have my commitment that we won't do it." Okay. I don't know what authority he has, but what just happens if the Congress doesn't give them money? Nope. You get this much money, we're not paying for that. It's all bureaucratic nonsense. This bloated bureaucracy that we have, and the fact that we just throw money around everywhere, but then when it comes to our veterans, when it comes to the guys that go and fight, like I said, get blown up and have terrible things happen to them, where a lot of them can't work. You lose a leg, you are extremely limited to the job that you can have. And also, let's be clear, the max that you can get, at least to my knowledge, 100% disability is around $3,400. So you're getting maybe around, if you're at 100% getting the most that you're getting from the government, you're getting somewhere around $40,000 a year. That's to cover you for the idea that you can't work, that you can't get a job, or at least, like I said, limit you on the types of jobs you can get. But so now with this new proposal, it says if someone starts making more than $170,000 a year, boom, it's all cut off immediately. But it's even goes before that. It reached about $125,000, I think, single. And there's a whole bunch to it that adds in the household income if you're married, so that affects it. And it creates these situations where veterans that are, like I said, they have these disabilities that maybe they doing well for themselves, and then they got a big family or something, and then all of a sudden they may have to quit their job or go part-time or do something to ensure that they don't go over, so to get their benefits cut off immediately. But it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. You deserve that. A veteran that goes and gets injuries, sustains injuries to himself, and makes it life difficult for him, for his family, they deserve that. They earned that. It's theirs. It's not something, it doesn't matter how much money they make. That's theirs to do what they need to, for whatever they want, whatever they need, it's theirs. Like I said, it doesn't matter how much money they make that should cut it off or not. The CBO assessment proposed a list of options for reducing the deficit, but they are not considered to be recommendations. They are, according to the report, options derived from many sources that reflect a range of possibilities. This year's list, first published December 7th, addressed VA disability compensation, which CBO analysts said has increased substantially faster than inflation in total spending and per veteran. According to the CBO, the VA paid 4 times the amount in disability compensation in 2021, $110 billion, than it paid in 2000, adjusting for inflation, even as the number of vets in the U.S. had dropped by more than 30%. Cool. Like I said, it's 4 times more than what it was in 2000. What has happened in the past 20 years? What has happened since 2000 to 2021? Oh, was it 20 years over there in the desert in Afghanistan and Iraq and sending guys over there constantly, having hundreds of thousands of boots on the ground over there, going in and out, doing things, getting blown up by IEDs, fighting bad guys? And you are, that's like a reason, like, well, it's gone up a lot, so we can't afford to give it to these guys. No. You sent those guys over, they got jacked up, and now you owe them. You owe them at least that much, $40,000 a year at best. Like, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, like, that's not even like a whole lot. Imagine getting $40,000 and not being able to really work a normal job, or you got PTSD and you're all sorts jacked up mentally. You got things going on, like, I mean, therapy costs money, which, I mean, I guess in the VA, like, that paid for, but we all know how socialist healthcare works. Anyone that's been in the military knows socialist healthcare is so wonderful. This is just, it's infuriating that the first thing that they want to do, or one of the first things, it's they want to go after the military and veteran guys and take away from them first, when we're giving, like I said, when we're giving hundreds of billions of dollars to other countries, you know, Pakistani gender studies, all that bullshit, and we want to spend, but when it comes to the veterans, that's when we want to start taking away. Benefits would be phased out for those above the threshold, reduced by $1 for every additional $2 of gross household income. Beginning in January 2024, veterans whose income was $170,000 or higher in 2023 would no longer receive disability compensation. So cut off completely. You get $170,000, boom, gone. And those whose household incomes were between $125,000 and $170,000 would receive adjusted payments. So it starts at $125,000. That's when you start losing. So as soon as you make $1 above $125,000, you're getting hit. For every dollar you make over $125,000, they're starting to take away the compensation from you. And it's going to keep, the higher you get, the worse it's going to get. The more money they're going to take from it, and less you're getting paid. And as soon as you go over $170,000 household, it's gone. You don't get any more. God, it is such bullshit. And this is at a time when recruiting numbers are insanely low, and it's a lot of factors. You know, going from the woke bullshit, like recruitment video from the army, where it's talking about lesbian moms and all stuff, instead of like actually doing the job, fighting, you know, military stuff like that. You know, there's recruiting numbers. I can only imagine most guys that are alpha male mentality, want to join the military, do something, and then they look at that commercial and go, that's what I'm going to go join and be a part of? Yeah, no thanks. I'll take my chances elsewhere. I'll go do something else. And then the fact that one of the, you know, it hasn't happened yet, but the Democrats keep pushing free college. That's one of the big incentives of military guys. Like, hey, you know, I'm going to go in, I'll do my job, do my thing, get paid to go, and I'll go to school. You know, I won't go into debt. Okay, that's the thing. So now we're talking about free college. So any of these young people, I would assume, going, why would I join the military? I'm just going to wait for the Democrats to pass free college. You know, Biden keeps promising it. And now you look at this like, okay, I'm gonna go join. I'm a young 18, 19-year-old guy. Let's go join the Marines. Let's go join the Army. And oh crap, well, you know, there's a war with World War III. We're right on the cusp of it. China and Russia are making deals. Russia's flying up on our drones or stuff. You know, Ukraine's getting invaded. We got boots on the ground there. 82nd Airborne's over in Romania. All this, this could be some real stuff. And at the same time, when we're on the verge of World War III, the biggest conflict anyone's going to be seen in half a century, and they're telling all these guys, well, good news is if you get blown up, if you get cut in half by a bomb or shrapnel or anything, we're going to limit you on the compensation that we give you after you get done with the war, and putting all of your risk and the life on the line. This is how we're going to repay you. That's, meanwhile, you could probably get more benefits from just losing your social security card, going down south of the border, and walking over and calling yourself an immigrant. You'd get more benefits that way. You don't have to show your vaccination card to do that. You have to get vaccinated, or they've removed that. But I mean, that was a rule that they made for military. You had to get vaccinated. They ain't making illegals get vaccinated. They're getting put up in hotel rooms. They're getting food paid for. They're getting a bunch of great stuff. God, this is so infuriating. The fact that we spend on so much stupid stuff, that we just print money and cause inflation, and we do things so ass backwards. And then when it comes to our veterans, we want to talk about cutting them. We want to talk about making it harder for them. Man, screw off with this. Like I said, nothing's happened yet, but veterans, you need to get loud. You need to make your voice heard on this one. You need to push back. And even if you're not a veteran, and you agree that this is stupid, you need to be pushing back. You need to be fighting against crap like this. Anyways, that's the blood boiler that you get for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button. Until next time, y'all have a great day.